a video on Friday or Saturday. You know which video I'm talking about? Yeah, some of you? Yeah, I was going to. And then, no, I decided not to. Talking about the video that was released in Memphis and of the man who was killed by the police. And you know what? Thank God, right? Thank God that they were 5 black police officers that killed him, or America would be burning this morning. So it's not a racist thing as much as it is a power thing. It's an abuse of power. That's what this is all about. And the abuse of power runs rampant in our society. And it's sometimes white against black or against other races. And it's rich against the poor. And it's the powerful, the military, against those who have no military background. And that's the way the world is going. There seems to be more and more leaders who are becoming dictators and in the world than there are people who are believing in democracy. And as we saw in the United States, even democracy can be on the edge, right? It doesn't take much. It takes the support of people who want this person to have absolute power and to use that power for their own good. And that's the way the world seems to be going. In the first reading today, it says, the cross is foolishness to the people of the world. And I understand that. When Jesus came into Jerusalem, and he rode in, and the people, thousands of people were supporting him. And they thought, this was our chance. We're finally going to overthrow the Roman emperor and the governor, and we're going to have freedom again. Jesus will be our leader. And then 5 days later, he was dead on the cross. And Paul says in 1 Corinthians, this is foolishness to the world. Our ego is what drives us for most of our lives. What's good for me, what's best for me is best. That's the way the ego operates. And then Jesus comes along 2,000 years ago and says, time out. This idea that we have been strapped with for thousands of years isn't working. Looking after yourself first and putting aside the needs of others isn't working in our world. We have to try something different. And that's what Jesus' message was all about. In the Gospel of Matthew that we just read, this is the Sermon on the Mount, right? It's the Sermon on the Mount. And there's like 2 or 3 chapters in the Bible that are dedicated to this. But these are the words. Blessed are the poor. I think, is it Luke that says the poor? In here it says, blessed are the poor in spirit, for theirs is the kingdom of heaven. Blessed are those who mourn, for they will be comforted. Blessed are the meek, for they will inherit the earth. Blessed are those who hunger and thirst for righteousness, for they will be filled. Blessed are the merciful, for they will receive mercy. This doesn't make sense, does it? No. What makes sense is that the powerful, the rich will rise to the top, and they will rule over the people who don't have the power and don't have the wealth. But this is the gospel that we are called to as Christians. Blessed are the poor. Blessed are the meek. Blessed are those who thirst after righteousness and godliness. This is what we are called to in our life. And we live in a time, even in Saskatchewan, what's our new motto? Saskatchewan first? Okay. Does it sound like America first? Does it sound like, let's look after our own needs before we look after the needs of others? Without getting too political, that goes against my Christian faith and belief. Our call is to look after everyone. Everyone across Canada. Everyone across the world. This is our call. And we can bury our heads in the sand. We can put blinders on and just look at the things we want to look at. Or we can look at the world the way it really is. And ask ourselves, what are we called to do as Christians? And we are not called to look after our own needs first. It's ironic that the Christian right has supported this doctrine of America first. And now they are receiving a great deal of criticism for people who are also in their faith on the right. But they say this goes against Christianity. And Christianity is losing. It's losing its face. It's losing its good reputation. And we've lost the message of the gospel. Your neighbor. A little bit later in the Sermon on the Mount. Look after your neighbor first. Love your neighbor as yourself. If your neighbor asks for your shirt, give him your coat as well. If someone strikes you across the cheek, turn the other cheek to strike that cheek in addition. Strong words, upsetting words, confusing words. But this is the direction we are called to. This is the direction we need to turn. Loving our neighbor. Putting our neighbor before ourselves. Amen. down here.